Hi.
Hello.
Are you ready?
You can't see it right now, but I'm airbending. I'm ready for today's video.
Do you know what airbending is?
I've only heard the term. I don't know anything about, but I'm doing it right now. I'm bending the air with my hands. You'll see it post edit.
I see. Do you have a beverage with you?
I do have a beverage. I'm
okay.
Drinking my
Water
tea
bend.
Right now.
Water bend right now.
Okay. All right. I'm doing it
right now.
I'm doing it. The water's moving. The tea is circulating.
Okay. I just have to believe you. I can't see what you're doing.
That's true. People don't know. I don't think people realize that we can't see each other when we record these until they go live.
Well, yeah, they have no idea because your face is right under my face on this video because the editor makes it so.
What if Libby flipped it just because you said
Libby would not do that. Libby would never mess with me that way. Libby, you like getting paid, don't you, Libby? Okay. So today we're doing Avatar cards, and that's exciting because this set actually has a lot of hype around it. Now, you knew so much about Spider-Man. You were so aware.
Uh-huh.
What do you know about Avatar?
Airbending. Water bending. There's a bald guy.
There is a bald human.
I'm assuming if there's air and water, there's fire and earth. If I had to take a shot in the dark at it.
Dude, you're so good at this.
Oh yeah, that was a real stretch. That was hard. That was hard.
Unbelievable.
This is why they pay us the big bucks. This is why they pay us the big bucks.
Sure. You get paid? What the hell? That's nonsense. Who's paying this man?
Yeah. So to make your audience grovel, I know about as much about. I probably, just based off of that, I probably know more about Avatar than I do about Spider-Man, which is only about 0.1% more. So this is gonna go well, I imagine.
I love this.
CGB, how much do you know about Avatar?
Oh, thank you for asking. My wife and I watched the show this year. We watched it from beginning to end just in the last 3 to 4 months. I still have a hard time remembering all the characters and all their arcs and all their names, but I definitely know the 4 elements. I know the different bending styles. I know the general major plot points of the show. I know the beginning, middle, and end.
Is it long?
I've also watched the live action series, which is shorter. No, it's not. It looks long. Because by modern standards, a season, unquote, now is 8 episodes released every 2 to 5 years. Yeah. And back in the day, it's here's 20 episodes. Dig in. Sure. And but it didn't feel long. When we actually dived in and started watching it, it went by really fast.
Can I vent? I don't think
it's long.
You know what I hate now? When they do mid-season finales. They're okay, here's 4 episodes of a show. We're going to have a mid-season finale, and the second part of the season isn't going to come out till the next year. It's not a new season. It's just the second half of the season. Whoever came up with that, there's a special place in hell for them to be tortured until the end of time.
And you know who it really is. I don't think they came up with it for this reason, but it works so perfectly for it that it makes me angry, is for the streaming services that you only want to buy a month and watch the whole thing and be done.
Yep.
And they're just oh, well, we'll give you 6 episodes or 4 episodes then. Have a mid-season finale.
Corporate greed
and then we're
wins
come
again.
Back in 2 years or whatever. Yeah.
Corporate greed wins again.
Oh my gosh, it's killing me, dude. I have so many rants about streaming services at this point. You know what? Piracy did it right. Let's get back on Pirate Bay. Let's go back to LimeWire. I used Napster when it was new. That's how old I am.
Today's sponsor is NordVPN. If you... That would have been the best segue transition of all time if that is what we were doing. I'm just going to put it out there.
No, today's actual sponsor, who condones absolutely none of what we say, is CoolStuffInc.com. Use promo code CGBpod. You're also sponsored by them now, so you can. What's your code? SEMO?
Use SEMO so that my code gets more than his code, so that because I get paid and he doesn't, right?
Hey, we got to talk about this. Anyway, use whichever code you most want to see win in the marketplace.
I like how we are 5 minutes into this video and we've not done a single thing related to Magic whatsoever.
Why would we want to talk about cards? Do you know? So, like, we are going to be evaluating avatar cards today. Okay. They are not going to be the same avatar cards I've evaluated with Raritan in other videos, and they are specifically slanted towards impact on standard. So that is what we are doing today. We're looking at standard avatar cards. No feelings commander stuff. No will it break pauper or modern or legacy. Standard. Do you know how standard is going, Simo? Have you followed standard Magic the Gathering?
I've heard that you guys are very angry because I get stuff on my Twitter feed, ancillary, just because I'm like half in the Magic community now. So just like I get to see the Yu-Gi-Oh community complain, I now get to see the Magic community complain. So it's very funny to compare our grievances against one another. But go ahead and enlighten me as to what's going on.
In other words, you follow Ash Lizzle.
Yep, that is exactly it.
Yep. And to be fair, I agree with, and I'm going to be straight up. I agree with her about everything. So her complaints are my complaints. She's just better at tweeting them than I am. I sit down, I type like 2 words, and I get tired and want to put the phone down and leave. I'm just not made for Twitter. I'm just not. So we are at the end of a long period where I don't even think we're mad anymore if you're a standard Magic the Gathering player. I think we're just disappointed because they made the VV. They banned like 6 cards back in like, what was this, April? And then they made the VV. The VV took over the world. And now they said, yeah, we can see that VV is by far the best deck. It's winning at everything. The meta share only goes up. It's repressive. It's upsetting. It's like a Nadu all over again, and that wrecked Modern. We're probably going to do something about that, but we're not going to do it till after the RCQ season because we don't want to mess with the people who invested, unquote, in VV. Okay. And the RCQ season is about to end. They actually moved the ban window up from November 20 something to November 10th.
Wow.
So by the time this video comes out, VV might be banned. Probably banned.
What if they did it? That would be so funny.
If they don't. Okay. So here's the situation. They figured out that VV's activated ability is busted in half with the card Agatha's Soul Cauldron.
We figured that out the worst possible commander show we filmed with you before the set was even out.
That is true. I did have that combo in the deck and it was about to happen. That's true. Actually, yes.
Why does everyone target me? Oh, I'm CGB. I'm not doing anything with my little VV over here. Don't attack me.
You know,
it's just a shadow spear. What's going to happen?
Oh my God, that was a different game. Anyway,
sorry.
Anyway, so I figured out. You're right. I figured out that VV and Soul Cauldron is totally busted with my big brain.
With your 600 IQ intelligence, yes.
Turns out these are both legal and standard, and since that combo is kind of existing. They're often blamed for the success of the deck, but here's the facts. Okay. The deck is already good. What the deck does is put out little creatures that get bigger whenever you discard cards and whenever you draw cards. Sounds pretty good.
Sounds good.
So they play. Yeah. They have this great combination of cards that create very large threats using Prof's Eidetic Memory, which puts +1/+1 counters on a creature for each card you draw beyond your first, And if you can solve these big attacking creatures that sometimes have multiple combat steps because of a card called Fear of Missing Out, it lets things attack twice. If you can solve this board, then they often just untap, play a Soul Cauldron, exile a VV under it, put those counters on a new thing, and it just make 1 billion mana and pop off and have a mega value turn.
Sick.
If they ban the Cauldron, they still have pretty much the whole deck except for that reload.
Okay.
If that reload is probably the thing that keeps it from losing to control, but it's still a very good deck. It still just goes toe to toe with everything. And like this, they banned Corey Steel Cutter back in April, and Izzet was busted then. Izzet's busted now because of VV. Will Izzet still be busted? If they don't ban VV, they'll just find another way to make a busted Izzet VV, and Izzet will still just be the best freaking deck. They're in a kerfluffle, dude.
Sure.
They have a problem. I don't know how they make standard interesting if these avatar cards aren't bangers. We need bangers, dude.
And is that what we're seeing today? Is that the transition?
Well, you get to tell me.
Oh, okay,
it's your
great.
job to rate these sweet avatar cards on a 1 to 5 scale for standard. A 1 is no play. A 2 is played in a niche deck. A 3 is a role player, a consistent sideboard card, a 1 of, a 2 of, something like that. A 4 is a staple, which has an important role in an A or an S tier deck across multiple B plus tier decks. And 5 is a ban candidate. People will talk about banning this card. It creates an A plus tier deck or is present in multiple A plus tier decks. The player who maximizes this card often wins. And if you want to be a troll about it, we also have the C rating for commander card.
Perfect. Oh, thank you. You wrote it all out for me. You're so kind.
And I have many blue cards to show you today.
I bet you do.
Exciting.
Ban them all.
Very exciting.
Ban them all.
Yeah, well, we'll start with, let's introduce you to some of the bending in the set. You're an airbender. Let's start airbending.
All right. Bald guy, Aang, Swift Savior, 1 a white and a blue for a legendary human avatar ally. I like how the set icon is just his head. That is very funny. He's a 2/3 with flash and flying. When Aang enters, airbend up to 1 other target creature or spell, which means to exile it. While it's exiled, its owner may cast it for 2 rather than its mana cost. And then for 8, you can waterbend and transform Aang. What do we get to transform into?
I have no idea. Analyze the front side while I find it.
Oh, okay.
I literally forgot about the transforming.
That's so funny.
part.
That's hilarious. All right. Flash and flying is cool. I like that. That's very Yu-Gi-Oh! When Aang enters, airbend up to 1 other target creature spell. So it exiles it. So it's in play when you're exiled. I'm assuming, right? It doesn't say like in your hand or anything. So I imagine it's something that's in play.
It has to be. It can be a creature in play or a spell on the stack.
Right. On the stack, right. Yeah, which is like, pseudo in play. And then exile it while it's exiled.
In Magic, it is 100% not in play. I just have to. I have to. The Magic nerds will be very.
I was gonna say it's like in the quarantine zone where it's like it's being played, but it hasn't. Whatever. Anyway, while it's exiled, its owner may cast it for 2 rather than its mana cost. While it's exiled, its owner may cast it for 2 rather than its mana cost. Okay, so is that just indefinitely? Like, so 4 turns later I can? Okay. That's kind of annoying from a tracking perspective, but that's fine. This is kind of, the cool part about this is that it's versatile because you can do this to your own stuff and you can also do it to your opponent's stuff. So it's like, if you need to get something off the board, it's like pseudo removal in a way. Yeah, they can like recast it, but if it's like combat, I'm assuming, is this like a sorcery speed effect or can you do this at like instant speed?
So the timing restrictions of when they can cast it again applies to what type of card we're dealing.
Oh, I guess that makes sense. Okay, sure. So if it is an instant, then hypothetically you could recast it immediately. I'm talking about creatures here. So hypothetically, they go and swing with Thing. Aang comes down, exile the Thing. Now, if they want to replay it, they can, but they just have to lose out on the combat phase. So that's pretty cool. It also lets you like dodge removal. So like if your opponent plays something and then you flash in Aang, and then you could exile your own Thing and then recast it later. That's really cool. I like this card a lot. This is a really sick ability. Do I get the, oh, here we go. Aang and La, Ocean's Fury. That's some art right there. Reach and trample on a 5/5. Whenever Aang and La attack, that's funny grammatically, but okay. Put a +1/+1 counter on each tapped creature you control. Whenever Aang and La attack, put a +1/+1 counter on each tapped creature you control. Tapping happens when they attack, so you would attack with everything. That triggers on attack. You buff everything up. This is kind of interesting because I remember you told me with like control decks, because we're in white and blue, like you want to have some way to close out the game. And so, like, this is kind of your way to potentially start closing out the game if you're in a situation where you're ahead, because you just transform Aang, you get a big guy that makes everything also bigger, which is kind of cool. I think this card's sick. I hope this card's good. This is a really neat card. I'm going to go with a 4, to be honest. I think this card's awesome. And plus, it's Aang. They want Aang to be like similar to Cloud, right? Which I don't think Cloud was necessarily a staple, but I think like they want to have the main characters of the IP to be at like the front and center. You know, like Sephiroth, it sounded like was pretty good from what I heard. So like he was front and center. So I hope, you know, I hope Aang gets his time in the spotlight. This card is sick. This is cool.
So first of all, definitely have to be careful giving it like bonus points for being Aang, because they make like 4 Aangs. I think there's like 4 Aangs in the set, just so you know. Sure. This is one of them. I also very much look at the backside as extra flavor. So did it doesn't say on here what waterbending is, does it?
No.
Oh, okay. Did you just take a guess that it was like pay 8 mana?
I just assumed it's pay 8 mana, transform it. Yeah.
Okay. Waterbending has its own text, but apparently they could only put the reminder text on there for airbending and didn't have room for waterbending. Yeah. Waterbending is whenever this creature becomes the target of a... Nope, that's something else. Oh, because I pulled up a waterbend that's a ward cost. This isn't confusing at all. Everything's fine. All right, waterbend. While paying a waterbend cost, you can tap your artifacts and creatures to help.
Oh, so it's Convoke?
One pays for 1. It's Convoke and Improvise combined.
Okay. Oh, because Convoke's just creatures, right?
Right.
Got it. Okay.
I think it's particularly awkward on this card because if you're tapping your creatures to transform it, then you attack with this. Those creatures didn't attack. They get counters, but they didn't attack. I really feel like this is where Universes Beyond Design gets a little clunky, because I think Aang Swift Savior also is just a good card without that extra ability. Not only do they not have the room for reminder text of how that works, it also just doesn't need to have this backside, but it has to transform because that's what the avatar does. The avatar gets Angie or learns skills and transforms into the avatar state in the show, which is then when it becomes some kind of a giant spirit monster kaiju thing and like does all kinds of extra cool things. So I think that just had to be added to the card because of the Universes Beyondness, the lore of it. So that is a small complaint, because I think this card on the front, like you said, is very good. I think it's just a solid card that will see some play. I think the biggest thing that holds it back is being legendary. You can't just jam 4 copies of this in the deck because it feels really bad to like legend rule yourself, play it, and then
it is
get
legendary.
rid of Aang.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that is a bit of a downside, but the airbending is super versatile. And so far, everything I've done with airbending for tempo has been very good. There is a bird Aven Interrupter that exists in the format now that has seen some play, not like staple play, but it's been here and there. It's shown up in sideboards and it's done some work. Aven Interrupter is this, but if the Aven Interrupter dies, they can cast the spell again for free. It plots the spell instead of airbending the spell. So I think this is better than Aven Interrupter. That was also a 2/2. This is a 2/3. So yeah, I'm expecting game from Aang Swift Savior. I think there will be tempo decks that absolutely love this card.
Yeah, can I steal your video for a sec? Here.
You can.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. The people like it better anyway. Just look in the comments.
So this is going to be a not one-to-one comparison. I'm going to say to you, read the second bullet point. That's the only thing that matters on this card.
Barfa. Is this like a streamer?
So his name is based off this card. Yeah.
All right. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one monster on the field and banish it until the end phase.
So again, not an exact one-to-one comparison, but this is what it reminds me of, because it's very versatile, because not only can you banish like your opponent's stuff temporarily, but you can banish your stuff temporarily too if you need to. And this card has like for like the specific deck, it was very, very good when it was introduced. And so again, maybe not like the key role player in the deck necessarily. So like, I think it'd probably be more of like a 3, you know, if I'm going to like revert my initial, rating, but, it's still like, this is what it reminds me of in terms of like how versatile the card is. This card was very good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 3 as well. We can agree in the beginning. We don't have to start fighting right now. Okay.
The legendary tag I also overlooked, to be fair. I think that's a big difference.
It certainly, I think, will have an impact. All right, we introduce you to airbending and water bending. Now there's the other two bendings we've got to find here. So we'll get you introduced to those right away. Cover the mechanics of the set. So check out this little critter.
Fire bending student, 1 in a red. If it's red, it's probably screwed because of Vivi. For a 1/2 human monk with prowess. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Pretty good. Firebending X, where X is this creature's power. Whenever this creature attacks, add X and red. This mana lasts until end of combat. Okay, Firebending X, where... God, the way your guys' stuff is worded sometimes just breaks my brain.
Oh my God. After all the Yu-Gi-Oh cards I get to read, you get to complain about how we're worded. All right.
So,
sure.
So it's...
Sure.
X is the creature's power. So when it attacks, you're adding what? Let's just assume it's 1 attack. Okay. So when it attacks, you're adding 1 red mana, which lasts until the end of combat. Yes.
1 red mana. Yeah. Assuming it has not gotten any bigger. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So then if it's prowess and it gets +1/+1, say you cast like some spell or something prior, then it's like a 2. Then you're adding 2 red mana that lasts until the end of combat. So then it lets you... It's mana cheating, but it's specifically only for the combat step, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I think you may have showed me similar cards, not the firebending, but I think you showed me cheap prowess cards before that were usually pretty good. And so this could just be like the next iteration of that type of card. But again, being like specifically being tied to the combat step, if you're playing for the board, you could play something that just makes this, that just buffs this even more. So then it goes to, like, say there's a 1 mana, like, buff spell that gives it, like, another +1 or +2, but then it also gets the prowess trigger, so then it becomes, like, a 4 attack, or 4 power creature, excuse me. Which is then, like, very annoying, and you can also do, like, combat tricks if, like, they try to block you and different things. If you're also playing, like, burn, I guess you can just, like, shoot them face with something with free mana. Like, that's cool. I don't think you're playing it for that, but just trying to think of all the applications here. Neat little card. Can you use the mana for, like, mana abilities of effects on creatures? So if it says, yes, like, okay, you can. Okay. So that's another application for it, too. I mean, it seems good. I think it just requires the specific, like, the right deck for it. I don't think, like, every deck is playing this, obviously. But I think if you build around this card, there's a lot of, like, value to be had. It's a very red card, giving you, like, the free mana and stuff, too. I like it. I think this is also a 3. I think this card's pretty good.
Firebending student. I really wonder. It's been a while since the red decks play stuff at this cost without haste. If this had haste, it would be... Yeah, if it had haste, it would be really, really insane. But here's the thing. It's scaring me. I have Vivi PTSD now because the way that Vivi makes mana equal to its power, right? Firebending student has a similar effect as long as you can use that mana on the spot. So there are some alarm bells here of, like, you play this, if the opponent doesn't react and kill it on their turn and you turn this sideways, then what happens? Say you cast 2 or 3 spells. Maybe one of those spells makes this bigger, and now you attack and you make, like, 7 mana. Is there a good use for that? It feels like we can find one in combat somewhere. It's also got to be a nightmare to block this thing because you have no idea how much damage you're about to take.
Exactly. And it also would be a nightmare to remove too in combat, right? Because similarly, if it's a damage dealing spell, it's like, how high can they get it with, like, the prowess trigger and or whatever card they would be activating, like, with the free mana, right? So it's like, oh, you have a deal 3 damage. Well, prowess guarantee gives it +1 to 3, but if they have anything that gives it +1 toughness in addition to that, then you just, like, wasted your removal. So
Yeah,
I don't know though.
It is a few instance away from being a problem. Like if there are good mana sinks in the format, that in combat, this is a problem. And there are 1 mana cards with mana abilities. I'm thinking of Kellen Trailblazer something. I'm thinking of the Grease Wrench Goblin or whatever the one is that's like 3 mana to discard 2 cards, draw 2 cards, put a counter on it. Like if you have enough mana, that's a really good play on turn 3.
I think, though, the fact it doesn't have haste, though, like, gives you a bit of leeway in terms of preventing, like, there is an opportunity, right? I think if it had haste, I think it would definitely be, like, really pushed. I think it's okay to have an outlet for those types of cards. I think that's fine. It really just depends on, like, what, contextually, like, what else is around it.
If Monstrous Rage was still legal, what were they thinking? Like that would be so insane with this card. And I'm sure that they'll find other ways that are, but like Burst Lightning right now is a commonly played card, and that is 1 red for 2 damage to any target. But Kicker 4, and it does 4 damage to any target. Like this pays your kicker if you get a few prowess triggers. Like
I think that's fine though.
This card
I think that
scares me.
I think that's fine.
You think that's fine? I don't think that's fine. Yeah. This card might be...
You gonna give it a 5?
Am I going to give it a 5? I don't think it's a ban candidate, but I do think it's a drop everything and remove it. And Izzet has had so much of this. They've had so much of this. The Vivi, the Corey Steel Cutter, the Monstrous Rage, like they keep causing problems, and they still have a turn 1 prowess card in the Otter enchantment. Storm Chaser's Talent makes a 1/1 with prowess. And it's like, that's even a prowess trigger because it's not a creature. It's an enchantment that makes a creature with prowess. It's this. I think that this will be a staple in the new prowess deck. I'm giving it a 4, and I hate doing it.
Okay.
I hate it so much.
Sure.
I hate it. So that's what I'm going with. What did you go with?
I went with 3. I can see 4 though. I was between 3 and 4. I could definitely see like this being a 4 of, and it's like you're building your whole deck around it because it's just like a very strong ability.
They made the card so likable and cute.
Those are the most dangerous ones, CGB.
It has to be.
Look at Vivi. Look at Vivi.
Yes, exactly. That is the new design philosophy. The more cute it is, the absolute worse for everybody.
Yep.
And, by basically, that segues me perfectly to this.
Excellent. This is a Badger Mole Cub, a 1 and a green for a 2/2 Badger Mole. Is mole like an actual type in your game, or badger for that matter? Or is that like very uncommon?
You ask these questions I'm just never prepared for. So I am looking up right now moles in Magic the Gathering.
Where's my mole commander deck? All right, anyway. When this creature enters Earthbend 1, so Earthbending is target land you control becomes a 0/0 creature with haste. This is very fitting. And that's still a land. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. When it dies or is exiled, return it to the battlefield tapped. Interesting. So it becomes a creature. When it enters, you take a land. It becomes a creature. You can attack with it. You can do stuff with it. And then even if it dies, it comes back to the battlefield. I'm assuming it comes back as a land. It doesn't say that, but I think that's assumed.
Correct.
Okay. And then whenever you tap a creature for mana, add an additional green. So you can go... If you play this on 2, you move up a land. Then on your next turn, you play your 3rd. And then technically it ramps you by 1 because it doesn't count itself. So, okay. That's kind of cool. It's only when it enters, but there could be ways to multiply that or like replicate it.
Copies of this are pretty funny.
The earthbending's like just mechanically is really cool. I feel like it's very flavorful.
Oh, you like it? Okay. I will tell you this isn't a big part of Standard. I guess it is. Standard has some. Yeah, there are. The Tifa deck does run fetch lands. There are. When you earthbend a land that you sacrifice to fetch another land, it then comes back. Is kind of an awesome way to get a +1. Yeah, it's amazing.
That's very cool. One issue I do see though is that if the land gets bounced, you do get set back a land. Because it only says dies or exiled. It doesn't say like leaves the battlefield.
Correct.
So if it gets bounced, if there's like other types of effects, I mean, if you're playing against blue, that's obviously a problem. But against most other decks, I don't really think that's too problematic.
Here's the interesting thing about that. Most bounce spells in like actually say non-land permanent.
Interesting.
There are some that say creature, and those could do it. But the ones that say non-land permanent, like in Commander Cyclonic Rift, would actually miss these creatures.
So the interesting part here is the scaling, because you only get one land that's earth bent when you play this.
Sounds so funny when you say it that way.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was trying to be grammatically correct there. But then if you have, like, let's say you're playing earthbend.deck, right? So then on your turn 3, you have 4 mana to work with, hypothetically. Let's say you hit your 3rd land drop. If you have another thing that earthbends, like say you have another one of these, that's where this starts spiraling out of control, right? Because then all of a sudden you play another one of these, you get another land, and then both of those lands then tap for 2 if you're playing 2 cubs, right?
Yeah.
So then you're at plus that. Then you have 5 mana to work with because you only spent.
If you have 2 cubs and then it taps for 1 mana on its own, and then 2 more. It taps for 3. Each one taps for 3.
But can you tap? You can't tap the cub for mana though.
No, not the cub, but the land that you turn into a creature taps for 3.
Wait, why is it cubs? Why is it tap for 3? Oh, because it's an additional.
On its own.
It taps for mana on its own. I'm completely neglecting that part. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then you get 3, 6, because then you have 2 lands. So you have 7 mana turn 3 if you go cub into cub.
Or cub and a mockingbird that copies it, something to make a copy of the cub. Yeah.
My math is right here, right? I'm not crazy.
And if you have a Llanowar elf, I think you have like 10 mana.
That's
because
insane.
That's still in
4.
standard.
That's a 4. That's a 4. That's insane.
That's a 4?
That's a 4.
You're into it?
Yeah.
God, I love this card also. I think the fact that this is mythic shows that they are still very much a capitalist company. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
This is going to be an all-star in Commander. Like in Commander, everybody 100%. Is going to have one. Yeah. In Standard, yeah, I think there'll be a deck. The way that Tifa is actually worked out so that there is like a landfall deck in Standard. You look at Badger Mole Cub, does it go in Tifa necessarily? Not necessarily, but it's good in Tifa. Earthbending a fetch land so that when you sack it, you go get a land, and then it brings itself back, so you get another land. It works in the Tifa deck already, which is like the fastest, most aggressive green deck. But it also builds a different kind of deck, like you said, where you can just go big mana. Like the Tifa deck doesn't need big mana to win, but this can go big mana. And
even if you don't get the best case scenario where you go cub into cub, you still have 5 mana turn 3. Like that's still good, you know?
Yeah. Its floor is it's 2 mana for a 2/2 and a 1/1 that taps for 2 mana.
Yeah. That's already good.
What? What? I don't know if it has to be banned. I doubt if we live to see the day that a Badger Mole Cub gets banned, I'll be shocked, but I'm with you as a 4. Like this card is insane.
This card's great.
It's insane. By the way, I've looked up the number of moles in Magic the Gathering. And
the thing that fans actually care about.
Since you started this, you have to guess how many moles are in Magic the Gathering.
Oh my God. How many cards are in Magic? I don't even want to. Like 20,000?
Like 30,000.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go with... How many moles are in Magic? I'm going to go with like 10.
Jesus Christ. How do you do this? There's going to be 11 after this set
That's crazy!
And guess what, man? The 6 of them are going to be standard legal. So
awesome. Mole tribal, baby. On. Let's go.
Oh my gosh. All right. So now we've seen the bending. We've seen earth bending, fire bending, air bending, water bending. Do you have a favorite or least favorite bending? Any thoughts on the bending?
I think the earth bending's really cool. Just because especially it puts the land back most of the time. Airbending's really cool because of like the flexibility it has. Granted, like on Aang specifically, there's even more flexibility because of the flash and everything, but I think that's cool. Water is kind of whatever. It's sure, it's there.
Sad, right? It sounds blue.
It does.
Was supposed to be my bending.
Yeah.
It really was. And then, I don't think it really is.
Fire's also like, yeah, it's red. Like, okay, sure. Like they're kind of like whatever. Like they do what they're supposed to. But I think air and earth are the coolest, like flavor wise.
Yeah. I'm with you. Earth bending feels really good to do. I will tell you that from having played some Commander, recorded some Commander with the cards. The fire bending is explosive, but very timing restricted. So it kind of needs a lot of things to line up. Although, granted, I didn't show you one, but a lot of the firebending cards also have their own ability on the card that basically says use it to do this.
Sure.
Like, okay, fine. I will, since you put it right on the card. So those are, and I think that probably the biggest cool space for firebending is if you can give another creature firebending. If you can use a card or an aura to give firebending to a extra large monster that doesn't usually have it.
Right.
That might be a sneaky thing. All right. Now that we've seen the bendings, I have a bunch of cards here to show you to rate for standard play, and a lot of them just for some reason happen to be blue.
All right, I'm ready to get bent. Let's do it.
My bias might be showing.
No. All right. The Unagi of Kyoshi Island. We have eels in Magic the Gathering now. I'm sad that eel is not a type. They had to make it a serpent. That's stupid. All right. This is a 3 double blue for a 5/5 serpent and legendary with flash and ward waterbend 4. Whenever this creature becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter unless that player pays 4, and then they can tap their artifacts and creatures I'll pay or to help each only pays for 1. So, okay, so this specifically, the other one was like to transform, but this one is to pay for the ward cost specifically, right?
Yeah, now you're forcing your opponent to waterbend. It's kind of weird, but
kind of weird. Yeah. Whenever an opponent draws their second card each turn, you draw 2 cards. Now I know why you picked this one. I'm shocked.
How could this happen?
How could it? Truly. Think about it. If you're playing green blue, you could play this on turn 3.
Yep. That is a thing.
That
sure is.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to do with all your mana? If you're CGB, maybe.
I mean, the faster you get this out, the more likely they aren't going to be able to kill it. So then you get to draw more cards potentially. So, not too bad. It has flash too, which is cute because if they play something that is going to make them draw their second card, then you can flash this in response to guarantee you draw the 2 cards. Very Maxi-ish, if I have to say.
Yep.
It's like a bit pricey, but I mean, like, it's a very good effect. Don't get me wrong. And also, it's just, like, annoying. Because they can tap their artifacts and creatures to help. Which is very blue. It is kind of weird. It's like you're making the opponent do the water bending.
It is. Just don't let them have creatures or artifacts. How hard is that?
How hard could that be? Yeah. Let's not look at any turn 1 or 2 game of Commander. The
one thing I do think, like I'm thinking of this compared to like Hornlock Whale, which is a 6 mana 6/6 flash that often can't block, but it's often unkillable because the opponent has to pay that ward. So it's like, it's so hard for them to multi-spell to try to interact with it. And like a ward 4 potentially, if they don't have an untapped creature or artifact ready to go, is so much more.
It's also like they're skipping their turn essentially, right? Because they have to probably tap everything out if they want to target this, and then hopefully the thing kills this. And then it's like, okay, this is all I'm doing this turn because I have to pay for the ward cost.
Oh, but I love the mind games, right? So they go to combat. So they have to declare their attackers, aka tap them first.
Ooh.
And then you can bring this out in block. And if they tap the wrong amount of creatures, they can't pay a ward cost for the removal spell they might have in their hand.
Yeah.
So that's Ooh,
Okay.
oh,
We're
I
cooking.
like that.
We're cooking.
I like the mind games because there's like incidental, there's like little mind value that you get if your opponent doesn't attack with a creature they could attack with because they think you might have the legendary eel here.
Yeah, I think this is a 3. I think it's just a good value piece. I don't think it's going to be like, meta warping, tier 1 threat or anything, but I think like some decks will play it if it makes sense.
In old standard, I would kill people with this 100%. This would be my control. Finish them. Absolutely. In current standard, that's so fast. I'm with you. It's a 3. I think one of it in a deck, maybe 2, or maybe out of the sideboard, right? Then we're probably cooking.
Sure.
But speaking of drawing second spells, maybe you need a cheaper creature to help you out.
Okay. Tiger Seal. That's so funny. Blue for a 3/3 cat seal. This has vigilance. At the beginning of vigilance on a blue card is kind of weird. Whatever. At the beginning of your upkeep, tap this creature. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, untap this creature. Beginning of your okay, so you play this on turn 1. Beginning of turn 2, this gets tapped. And if you draw your second card for each turn, you get to untap this. It's interesting that they're trying to give blue this like somewhat aggressive creature in a way.
They've tried this over the years, and then it's always kind of weird. It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
And then if it attacks, it stays untapped, so it can block on the crackback, but then it still gets tapped during the beginning of the next turn. In current standard, like how easy is it to draw your second card?
Read this card.
See, it's like he knew I was going to ask.
How did he know?
Proft's Eidetic Memory. This is very like MC Escher inspired. This art's sick. 1 and a blue for a legendary enchantment. When this enters the battlefield, draw a card. All right, there we go. And then you have no maximum hand size. I love seeing that line of text. And then at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you've drawn more than 1 card this turn, put X +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, where X is the number of cards you've drawn this turn -1. Okay, so basically if you play this on 1, you play this, or I'm sorry, you play the Tiger Seal on 1, you play this on 2, you draw a card, so that's your second card for the turn, you go to combat, the seal goes up to a 4/4, and then as long as you're always drawing additional cards, then you could keep buffing the Tiger Seal and keep making it bigger.
It is so the Proft's Eidetic Memory is one of the backbone pieces of what is currently the VV deck.
Okay.
It is very possible for nearly every other like card in the deck that's a permanent, like 20 to 30 permanents that also draw cards.
Okay.
And are like 2 and 3 mana creatures
that draw a card.
Yeah.
So like they're giving people a tool to make like blue aggro essentially with this.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh yeah.
That just seems very out of character for this type of color, but interesting.
And it probably is, because guess what? Drawing cards and getting a +1/+1 counter whenever you do is kind of busted, because drawing cards was WoW enough, and the trade-off for drawing cards was often board presence. Well, not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah.
You can see how that's good with Vivi?
No, that's if she's around, you know. You mean now?
God.
You mean now? Yeah.
Oh, God. Don't get me started. What have they done to my blue?
Another interesting application of this is that I guess this is also, while blue aggro is a consideration, there's also the approach that if you're playing control, you can play this and it fends off the aggro decks as long as you can keep drawing cards. Because then it's like, okay, turn 1, you play this, and then as long as you're drawing with like the eidetic memory and different things, the aggro decks can't get in, because this thing is just always going to be bigger than what their like 1, 2, and 3 drops are in most instances. Or they have to waste those resources to get through the Tiger Seal, and then they don't have, like, they run out of gas faster. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, blue now has the best 1 mana board presence in the format. Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes, it is.
Huh. That's tough. I mean, that seems really good. That seems really good.
It seems really good.
Are we going 4? Are we going 4 with this one? Or is it just a hope and a dream?
Struggling.
Is it just a hope and a dream?
So they've done this various times in Blues history where they make like a 1-mana 3/3, but it has a drawback or something. But usually the drawback keeps it from being cast. Or there's another card in standard right now that's a 1-mana 3/3 flyer, but enters with 2 stun counters, so it doesn't untap for like the first 3 turns of the game, right? Okay. This is untapped on turn 1. Right. So the opponent's 2-mana 2/2 hasty creature doesn't get through it.
Yeah.
I like if they ban Vivi by the time this video comes out.
Nice save.
And they ban Soul Cauldron. Can you just replace Vivi with Tiger Seal and that deck is still really good? That's the thing I'm locked into. And I'm giving you this content up front because I think it makes the discussion more interesting. Yeah. There is already a busted deck doing a busted thing. They're talking about banning the busted thing, but then they're giving it the best 1 drop in the format. And you can build the rest of your deck pretty easily to play right around it.
I think we're going 4. I think we're going 4. I think we're going 4.
I think we have to go 4. This might blow your mind.
You're going to go 5?
I'm wondering.
Whoa.
It's too stupid.
Whoa.
I think this card is too stupid, dude. But it's possible they'll ban Prophecydetic Memory. And then this card is a lot worse.
Right. Okay.
So are all the other cards that, like, when they enter, draw, discard, which is what a lot of them do. That's how a lot of them get away with it, is they actually parody because they draw, discard, or discard, draw. Yep. So I think Prophecydetic Memory getting banned might actually solve some of it. But are they going to do it? Are they going to do it before they even get to see this card plus Tiger Seal together?
That's funny. Possible.
I can't do a 5 because I do think they would ban Eidetic Memory first, and then I agree. Think this card's fail state's a lot higher.
Eidetic Memory is definitely the more like alarm bell ringing card of the two. I would agree.
I am also going with 4 on Tiger Seal. I think this card is stupid. My blue, what have they done to my blue? Everything's tempo now. It's so obnoxious. This is like Delver of Secrets plus, especially if Eidetic Memory's in the format. I'm with you. This card is stupid. I need to look at another card before I get angry. But sure, let's look at this one.
The Lion Turtle. Oh, this art is sick. 1 in a green and a blue for a legendary Elder Cat Turtle. That's a 3/6, Vigilance and Reach. When the Lion Turtle enters, you gain 3 life. The Lion Turtle can't attack or block unless there are 3 or more lesson cards in your graveyard. And then you can just tap this to add 1 mana of any color. I think you've showed me a lesson card historically, but I do not remember it for the life of me.
So I have a pack of 7 lessons to look at because they are important to understanding a few cards from the set, including this one. But lessons generally, speaking, are spells. They're pretty simple. I'll show you some of the good rate ones.
Sure.
And they actually, I think, are, a lot of them are power crept versions of older cards, funnily enough.
2 and a white for Airbending Lesson, which is an instant. Airbend target non-land permanent, so it's kind of just ang on a instant, and then draw a card. Okay, cool.
Yep, solid little piece. We got this one.
Boomerang base. I feel like Airbending Lesson is going to be really good in like sealed or limited. Boomerang Basics. Blue for a sorcery lesson. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If you control that permanent, draw a card. Okay. Flexible.
And more bouncy stuff. This is actually, there's even more flexibility in some of these. I really like this one. Check it out.
Dai Li Indoctrination. 1 in a black for a sorcery lesson. Choose one. Either target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land permanent card from it, and that player discards it. Or Earthbend 2. Okay, so when you Earthbend 2, you're not Earthbending 2 lands. It just gets 2 counters. Okay. Okay. Can't attack or block unless there are 3 or more lesson cards in your graveyard. Otherwise, it's
I
just
have
a mana rock.
handful of them in the other colors. I think probably one of the more interesting ones is this one. Well, just check this out really quick.
Seismic Sense. Green for a sorcery lesson. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of lands you control. Reveal a creature land, put them into your hand, and put the rest on the bottom in any order. Okay, so we got some diversity. All of them seem just pretty good at face value, and they're pretty cheap as well.
Yep.
It's Vigilance and Reach. It can't attack or block unless you have the lessons engrave. Otherwise, it's just a mana rock.
Ancient Elder Cat Turtle.
Even if you get the lessons engrave, how good is a 3/6 Vigilance and Reach?
Can absorb a lot of damage.
It can. It can. I'm not in love with this one.
If it drew a card, it would be Uro, and you'd love it.
That exactly. I was thinking that actually.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it.
As soon as I saw
you.
the gain through life thing, I'm like, oh, it's Uro, my beloved. Also, it's missing like 3 extra power points added to it too. But we're not here to talk about my favorite Magic cards. If you get multiple of these, then they can. I don't know. I'm not feeling this one. Like, even if you do turbo into the lessons and, like, okay, you can, like, turn 1 Seismic Sense or, like, turn 2 Seismic Sense and, like, Boomerang Basic, whatever. Or play, what usually mills? Black, probably. Like, you play, like, some 3-color deck and you try to, like, mill stuff out of your deck so you don't even have to play them. You can do that. But even then, your payoff is a 3/6 Vigilance Reach that gains you a little bit of life. And also is, like, a mana rock. I don't know.
I mean, on one hand, it's a payoff, but it's also kind of a bridge if there's a more expensive payoff, too. If there's a bigger lesson shenanigans.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not in love with it. I put this at like 2.
I think that's fair. I'm tempted for 3, but I just don't know. The lessons are good. It's just... they would have been good in old standard. A lot of them are kind of reprints. Like there's a Rampant Growth that's a lesson, which is just 1 and a green. Search your library for a land, put it on the battlefield tapped.
Sure.
Oh yeah, back in the day that would have been insane. Now people are like probably just like eh. So I think your read is good. I think a 2 is good. I'll show you another card. This one uses both Firebending and the lesson mechanic. That's kind of an interesting thing to ramp into.
Ran and Shaw is a 3-mana 2-red dragon legendary for a 4/4 with flying and firebending 2. So this means that when you're attacking, you get 2 red mana. It's not like, I think the fact there's an X to start threw me off a little bit, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. When it enters, if you cast them and there are 3 or more dragon and or lesson cards in your graveyard, create a token that's a copy of this, except it's not legendary. That makes sense. So that way you don't have to pick one. When it enters, so then you have 2. It's a copy of this. So then you get to firebend 4, hypothetically. Also, it includes dragons, not just lessons. And then 3 in a red, dragons you control get +2/+0 until end of turn, which is fitting because you kind of alluded to this. But, oh, look, now you have something to spend the mana on. Sick.
So they're attacking for 12 if you don't put any other mana into it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Need the lessons again. And or dragons. Like, there's ways to work around that. Duplicates. Get the excess mana. I mean, I like this.
He said that is one of the most Simo things I've ever heard. I like this.
You're not wrong. I do that. It's like mid-sentence, I'm like evaluating, and I change course.
Yep, hit a wall there somewhere.
I mean, you're getting 4 extra mana if everything goes according to plan consistently, and you have a way to burn it, but it's just extra power. They do have flying, so they have a little bit of evasion.
The firebending is just kind of all right. I mean, like, but if you're talking about like the rate, it's 5 mana for 2/4/4 flyers if you do the lesson thing.
Yeah. But
so you can go just saying, you can turn 1 like a Seismic Sense, turn 2 Boomerang basics their card and cast another Seismic Sense. Turn 3, you can have the 3/6 Vigilance Reach 3 life ramp piece online, and on turn 4 you can attack with it and then cast double dragons. And if they attack the next turn and you put your firebanding mana into it, you could attack as well as your regular mana. You could attack for 14 in the air.
Yeah, but that's assuming everything goes right, because that means you have to hit 3 lessons, and then you have to play these other cards. Like, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I think it's bait. I'll give it another 2.
Along the way, though, I don't know. Are there enough lessons? Okay. I mean, 2 is a very safe call because you could say the lessons deck, right? And you're probably going to be right a good amount of the time. And I know you like being right a good amount of the time.
Thank you.
I think that sounds really good. It is kind of the problem with standard right now,
I think
though.
that's a Disneyland scenario if that happens.
Okay.
Like if you pull off secret into, or sorry, it's not secret, lesson into lesson into lesson into the guy we just read into this guy, like, okay, bro, like, sure, whatever. But most of the time what's going to happen is you're going to look at your hand, you're going to mulligan, you're going to realize you don't have enough lessons to actually make your deck function, and you're just going to be you're going to be on Pizza Gang X2 in the first 2 rounds and have to, just sit there the rest of the day at the venue. I'm not buying it.
I want to say sign me up, dude. Back in the day, let me tell you about old Magic. There's a card called Broodmate Dragon. All right. Broodmate Dragon was 6 mana for a 4/4 dragon that made another 4/4 dragon. That's all. That's the card. 6 mana, 2 4/4 flying dragons.
Okay.
That was busted. It was a winner. It knew how to win, baby. It was
and
like
when was
Rocky
this card released?
In the 80s. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
so
that's
much.
what I thought.
I don't know why these details are so important to you. 2008. Okay, 2008 is
later
the
than I
correct
thought,
answer.
to be honest.
But I mean, we knew greatness in our time, and Broodmate Dragon was greatness. And you know what? I want Randon Shaw to be greatness so much. Maybe some would say too much, but there's all kinds of dragon support. Like, if only those were also lessons. But Tarkir Dragonstorm had so many dragons as well. I don't want to bail. I don't want to bail on this card. But I have to. You're right too.
Yeah, it's
fine.
Bulk bin.
You're right.
You're
right.
Yeah.
You're right. I got to talk about it. I'll live. Let's look at another blue card.
It's like you said, this was printed like 15 years ago, maybe, but I don't know.
It has been at least that long, hasn't it?
You said 2008. Yeah. We're checking our age.
Oh my God.
Secret of Bloodbending. This is 4 blue for another sorcery. Another lesson that is a sorcery. As an additional cost to this cast the spell, you may waterbend 10. Okay. You control target opponent during their next combat phase. If this spell's additional cost was paid, you control that player during their next turn instead. Ooh, getting some Emrakul throwbacks here. Exile Secret of Bloodbending. Okay, so waterbending is you can tap your creatures or artifacts to help to pay for waterbending, right? Or help pay for it. Okay, so you guarantee you need 4 blue. And then anything else can get you to a creature or artifact specifically can get you to the 10, or any other way to just get mana as well. Let's evaluate this without the water bending first. So if you're just playing this for 4, you control target opponent during their next combat phase. Is that good?
I can't help but think that, well, you would think, first of all, it's like if you control their combat, then you can make them make bad attacks, but that means you have to have reasonable blockers. But you can cast their instant spells for them during their combat. That is a thing you can still do.
I was going to ask if that was allowed. Okay. So
if they have an instant speed removal spell and they don't cast it during their main phase, maybe because you don't have a target for it, and they go to their combat. Here's the thing they can do about that, though, because this is a sorcery. You have to cast on your turn.
Right.
They can they can tap themselves out so that there's no mana for them to cast it.
Yep. If they're playing like water bending, or if they have other ways to do it. Yeah, I was thinking that's, to me, is the biggest drawback here, is it's a sorcery. They have some time to sort of prepare for what's to come. And in some situations, maybe they won't, right? Like maybe you just like, haha, got him, and then, you get to do stuff in their combat phase. But
that's a good YouTube video is what that is.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a YouTube video for sure. Then okay, so then we're water bending 10 to be able to just Emrakul him, essentially. We still need 4 blue guaranteed. So let's think. If you're playing the mole,
of course, it comes back to the mole.
Well, there's a world with the mole you can do this on turn 3, right?
What?
Because if you go mole into something that turn 4. You go mole into something that like earth bends something else, right? You have the mana, and you can tap the moles to pay for blood bending.
Oh God, you're right. Let's see. So if you tap a Llanowar Elf for 3 mana, a mole. Oh God!
Because we said on turn 3,
Earthland. Say that they're blue, so that we have our blue mana.
Yeah, let's say
1,
we have
2,
the blue
3,
mana.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You're right.
Yeah. So the dream scenario is mole into, like, let's say Llanowar Elves into mole. Then you can do this as early as turn 4 and take control of their turn. Now the problem is like, one, that a lot of stuff does have to go right for that to happen. And maybe you could do it on like turn 5, turn 6. Sure. Because then the next question is, but it does seem doable. It does seem doable. If you're playing like green, blue, and have earthbending, and you have the mole, it seems like you can do it pretty early. So then the next question is, I mean, I remember seeing how broken Emrakul is. But Emrakul was also a creature, and this is not. And that, I think, is a very big difference here.
Yep.
And not to mention, Emrakul was a very annoying creature on top of it, because it was like flying in something.
13.
Yeah.
It ended games after crippling the opponent and making sure that they couldn't interact with it. Yeah.
I'm going to give this a 3. I think there's a deck to be built around this, but I don't think this is going to be like what every deck is trying to do. And I think there might not be enough ways to do it like super consistently enough. And especially when you're doing it, it needs to be game winning. And I think with Emrakul, because you're also getting the body with it, you're basically almost guaranteeing the game. And this not having the body, I think, is a huge difference. So I'm going to go with a 3. I think people are going to want to try to play this too, because like I think that effect is very fun and exciting. So I think 3 is fair for this.
I agree with everything you said, but my conclusion is going to be a 1. I think it's a dead card. I think in fact, it's a C. This is commander bait, 100%. This is going to be a mythic that's like $20 for a week, and then
would you want to play something like this in commander though? Because there's 4 players total, so you only get to control one of them.
But that's the good part, is like you control the person with the board you want to like wreck, and then other people have multiple creatures of their own for you to attack into to make sure that like you actually have an opportunity to kill these things, or you just get to murder a player with another player's army, right?
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, so I think this is a commander card. I think this is 100% commander bait. I was curious I am as curious as everybody, because people felt the same way about Emrakul, too expensive, not good enough. And then the Pro Tour happened and it was like, oh, wait, it's the only thing that matters. Oopsie, we got that wrong. I don't think this is Emrakul for the reasons you said. I agree with you. But let's look at another card that calls back to other cards and see what we think of it.
This is a test to see if I remember these cards. Spirit Water Revival. 1 and 2 blue for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this, you may water bend 6. Draw 2 cards. If this spell's additional cost was paid, instead shuffle your graveyard into your library, draw 7, and if no maximum hand size for the rest of the game, and you exile this card. You exile this no matter what, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So 3 mana draw 2, if I recall, is basically the going rate for a draw 2. Like the bare minimum, usually, right?
Yep, there's your good old limited pot of greed. Yep.
Got it. Okay. So 3 mana draw 2. It's a sorcery, which kind of sucks. That's not like great, but it's like it could be okay. And then if you pay 6 more, you shuffle your graveyard into your library, draw 7. This, from a control player's perspective, is a dream. Because if you run out of gas, this gives you more gas. And the fact that it's like modal, so like you can just use it for the draw 2. Like you can play 4 of this, right? Use it for the draw 2 90% of the time. And then if you're in a situation where you need to like refuel your hand and take a turn off, then you just do that and you're set. Not to mention you probably have some number of either creatures or artifacts that you can help pay for it to make it cost to. This is a sick card. Oh my god, this is cool.
If they blink and you get to draw 7, keep in mind that's not a shuffle your, like, you don't shuffle your hand into your deck. You just draw 7 on top of your current hand.
Right. I'm thinking about it in the scenario where you're all low on cards already, though. So
yeah, that's probably a GG.
Yeah. That's cool. That's good. Is it, man, the fact that it's already a 3 mana draw 2 just on its own is really good because you can just play it for that. And yeah, it's not instant, but like, who cares? Okay, so by default, I'm giving this a 3. I'm torn between if I want to go up to 4.
My main problem with sending it to a 4 is that there are good competitors in the format.
That was my thought. I think there's like probably things that you can explain that I'm not gonna have no idea what you're talking about, but that's okay.
So at the 3 mana sorcery speed spot for card advantage, there's like honestly what a lot of people have considered a very good card. See what you think of this one.
Stock up. 2 and a blue for a sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put 2 into your hand. That's crazy. Yeah. So you're competing with that. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough competition. That is tough competition. But the shuffling your library back in and your graveyard back in is also a big deal in best of 1. Not so much in best of 3. Serious tournament magic has only been about the VV deck. But in best of 1, mill is a real threat to your control deck. Like running out of cards is a significant problem when it comes to control matchups and ending the game. And there hasn't been a way in standard for a little while now to just shuffle your deck back in at a reasonable rate. This does that. If the opponent taps out to mill half your library, and those of you who haven't played Arena Best of 1 Standard have no idea what I'm talking about. You're like, what is this guy talking about? What world of Standard is this? I've looked at all the MTGO deck lists in the Best of 3 spiky format. Nobody's doing this. I promise you, on Standard Mythic Ladder, you have to be ready for the opponent to just like try to mill half your deck with what is it, Singularity Rupture. They just do it. It happens. Space-time anomaly, and if they tap out to do that and then instead you shuffle back in and draw 7, it's such a blowout. It's such a blowout, dude. In the control mirror, whoever resolves this is probably going to win.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, 100%. I think I'm gonna give it a 3. I think that was my first instinct, and so I think that's a fitting spot. I think there's competition for it, but I think you could play. Maybe you take out a copy of Stock Up and play this in its place, or maybe you just play 1 or 2 of this in addition to that. Yeah, I don't know, but I think it's The cards are so good. The card draw spells are actually really good. The good news about Standard is we have good card draw. The bad news about Standard is if you spend 3 to 4 mana drawing cards, you might just die. So you also have to interact while you do it. So it's actually balanced by the aggression level of Standard. So Spirit Water Revival in a former format would have been an absolute monster. And now it is also, I would say, role player. It's also tempting to say niche deck because I think a good control deck might just want Stock Up and Consult the Star Charts, which are 2 really good selection spells. But then I think still 1 Spirit Water Revival competing for a spot
makes sense so that you
Right.
don't just run out of gas. It is a win con of its own. I will go with a 3 as well. 3. I love this card. I'm so
It's
excited
cool.
for this
Yeah,
card.
it's neat.
I can't wait to do stupid stuff with this card. Oh my gosh. Let's look at this card. I'm not sure what I think of this one. You might be able to sway me quite a bit on this one. Let's see.
Avatar Destiny. Cool art on this one. 2 and 2 green for an enchantment aura. You enchant your creature. It gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard and is an avatar in addition to its other types. When an enchanted creature dies, mill cards equal to its power. Return this card to its owner's hand and up to 1 creature card milled this way to the battlefield under your control. So, best case scenarios, you high roll and hit like a huge thing to just immediately get to cheat into play with this. But you do have to pay 4 just to put this on something. And it also has to die specifically. This is a 1. This is a 1.
Yeah?
Yeah, this is a 1.
I don't know.
You can try to convince me.
I thought it had some Yu-Gi-Oh nonsense to it. I was like trying to think of loops where like you mill a ton, you get like a huge graveyard and a huge creature out of it all at once. And is there a creature that like you bring back a creature that brings back more creatures? I was trying to think of something.
Maybe
it is.
I don't know. But
it definitely seems like a good C. Like there are commander decks.
Yeah, that I
hell of a time with this.
Right, commander. I maybe I put it in that category for sure. Yeah, that I could see. But for like a regular competitive constructed format, I'm not loving it.
It's also trying to think if there's a way to just like flip your deck over and enchant this on, I don't know, something that can't be targeted and just one punch man. But that's
maybe.
A different anime.
Yeah, but I mean, you need to like, I feel like there's just so many things that have to go right because you have to enchant the creature. You have to find a way to kill the creature. You have to kill something that its power is big enough, or you have to find a way to stack your deck to get the right creature that you're trying to mill in the mill of Avatar Destiny, because it's not like you can already have it in the graveyard or anything. And then, I don't know. There's just so many hoops you have to jump through for this.
There's got to be a combo with it. Let me know the combos in the comments. I can't think of them because I'm not a green player. I don't
That's
try to
the
make
real
big
problem.
stompy creatures.
That's the actual problem here.
Yeah, with like blue card good, green card bad. I'm also stuck on the 1, but I don't know. There's something about it that seems better than that to me, and it's probably more of a commander card. But if you have a standard combo with this, I really want to know what it is. Let me know. Don't make me go watch another creator's video. All right, I'm very selfish about my watch time. Very, very selfish. All right. You know what? Fine. We'll do another blue card.
I'm shocked, truly. Wan Shi Tong Librarian, X and 2 blue for a legendary bird spirit that is a 1/1. It has flash and flying and vigilance. I like how it's flash and then a new line, flying, vigilance. Anyway, when this enters, put X +1/+1 counters on him, then draw half X cards rounded down. So if you go 2 into blue, it's a 2/2 that draws you 1. If it's 3, it's a... If you X is 3... Oh, no, it would be a 3/3. It's a 3-mana... or a 4-mana 3/3, draw 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
The counters are what the X is. The card draw is half of what the X is.
Right. Okay, then whenever an opponent searches their library, put a +1/+1 counter on this and draw a card. So you get to shared ride them, basically. Shared ride's a Yu-Gi-Oh card that has this effect, basically.
Oh my God, they have Uber and Lyft in Yu-Gi-Oh.
They do. Yeah.
When is it? Man,
they're taking all the ban cards to the ban zone. It's very cute, actually. So best case scenario, when they go to search, you flash this in, it gets a counter, and then you get to draw. And then also you maybe get to draw if So there's a world where, let's say you have 4 mana. They go to search. You flash this in. It's a 4 mana 4/4 draw 2. Right? Am I understanding this correctly?
4 mana 3/3 draw.
Oh, 3/3 draw.
How much did you pay to flash it in?
I said you pay 2 to flash it in.
Okay, so blue. You just pay 2 mana total to flash it in.
2 mana. Sorry, 2 and 2 mana.
X
4
equals
total.
2.
X equals 2. X equals 2.
Okay, X equals 2. So it comes in as a 3/3. You draw 1 card, and if it was in response to a search, and this.
Oh, you're saying it comes in as a 3/3. I'm sorry. I cut you off.
Let me finish.
Sure.
Let me finish. Right. I'm resolving the card right now. Okay, 5 head. Let's do this. It's a blue card. We can do this. All right, X equals 2. 4 total mana. And it's in response. Let's say it's in response to cracking a fetch land, an opponent's search effect. Okay. So it comes in as and a trigger goes on the stack to add 2 +1/+1 counters to it and draw 1 card. Now it is a 3/3 and it drew 1 card.
Yes.
Now the search effect resolves, which puts a new trigger on the stack, which puts another counter on this card, and you draw another card. So in that scenario, it was 4 mana for a 4/4 flying vigilance that drew 2.
That seems pretty good. That's seems
really
pretty good.
It's a really good card.
And the fetch lands are in standard, right?
No. There are not the fetch lands. There are fetch lands like Escape Tunnel, Fabled Passage that people are using specifically in the Tifa deck for landfall purposes.
Let me rephrase. Are there enough cards being played in every standard deck that this will trigger very frequently?
Not in every standard deck.
Ooh, okay.
The aggro decks of the format and the VV decks do not play anything that searches their library at all.
So I think that might be, it's not like the end of the world, but I think that is a limiter. Like, I think if you're playing this in in Commander, this would be nuts. But that is pretty good though. Yeah, it depends on how many times you can get the trick. Like, it's also fine because maybe you could also just cast this for like a lot of mana and just draw a bunch of cards and get a giant flying vigilance thing. Yeah. So that's also just fine. Yeah. So it has
just wait till you have 8 mana on your end step, flash in this giant bird and draw 3.
It has the flexibility. Yeah. I'll give it a 4. I like it. It's cool.
A staple.
Yep.
A staple.
Actually,
I wish I could love it that much.
3. Yeah. I forgot 4 staple. Yeah, I'll go 3.
Walking it back.
Yeah, I'll go 3.
He walked it back. Libby, put a little X there. Make a different sound. Yeah. Is it a role player? I think there's a world in standard where it doesn't see play, where it's just not enough rate. I hate that. I hate that so much.
It's also a win con for control. I mean, that's another thing.
See, how could I possibly rate a win con for control at a 1? How could I do that? By the way, the Quantum Riddler, the like Sphinx that like warped in for 2 and drew a card that I was like really high on. That's a 4 of now in the VV deck.
Wow,
it's like the most expensive card.
You were right.
Yeah, I nailed that one as my control finisher, but I was totally wrong because it's not a finisher for control at all.
That's funny.
It's part of the VV engine.
The combo.
That's what it is. It's part of the Proceidetic Memory engine. That will be around still, probably, if they don't ban that to support the seal, the Tiger Seal. So anyway, I think almost every control deck I build, I'll run like one of these. Yeah. So how could I say it's played in a niche deck? I'm not going to call my control deck a niche deck. I can't do it. I can't do it. So I agree with you. It's a 3. Fine.
Hell yeah.
It's a role player.
Hell yeah.
But man, in Commander, I think this is a staple.
Oh, Commander, this card's nuts.
In Commander, this is insane. For 2 mana, you play this, and it'll be like a 5/5 in a couple of turns.
Yeah.
And you'll have drawn 4 cards off it. What? And that's in like casual Commander. In like CDH, where they like search their library 3 times a turn.
Yeah.
Who this? Indeed. Oh my God. Love this card. All right.
Foggy Swamp Visions. That is a 1 and 2 black for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this, Waterbend X. Exile X target creatures from graveyards. For each creature card exiled this way, create a token that's a copy of it. At the beginning of your next end step, sacrifice those tokens. This is neat.
It is.
Cool way to do some fun shenanigans by just like cheating in copies of them. This has some applications for... Yeah, go ahead.
You could get the Arden and the giant cactar.
Yeah, my favorite.
The jumbo cactar.
So you have to waterbend X in addition. So if you're only needing to do one creature, it's 4. Because it's 3 for the card and then 1 for the waterbending X. And then you make the copy, and then next turn it goes away. So it's 4 for 1, 5 for 2, goes on. I think there's some cool combos to be had with this. You're in black, so I mean it's not hard for you to like mill yourself to get to those types of things that you're looking for. I think there might be like some combo deck here to be had. I'll give it a 3. I think it's a cool card.
I think it's interesting because you can obviously build around it so that you have a really good like line with it, but you can also just sideboard it in and hit like a Graveyard Matters deck on the opponent's side.
True. Yeah,
and get their value graveyard while wiping. Yeah, you can kind of wipe out their graveyard for targets. I think that I don't know. There's something about this that seems nasty.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think. The fact that you have to sacrifice the tokens means that you definitely want to reanimate for value. You need ETBs. You don't get to attack with them unless you have a way to give them haste. But I don't know. There's something to this card. I'm curious what it can do. I'm really unsure about it. I feel like it's one of those where I would say no play and then get blown out by it someday, or a deck built around it. Sure. You know what I mean?
I can see it.
The Arden in particular is a heck of a card. I mean, that's an 8-mana creature, and it reanimates something that you do get to keep, and gives it haste. And it actually gives all demons haste.
Okay.
So if you create Arden and multiple demons with the visions, then all those cards get haste. In best of one, this is very good against the very popular graveyard deck. Cavaro, the Mind Bitten, like does a big graveyard combo. This would be an excellent way to hose that deck. Just absolutely tear their legs out from under them. But I also picture this in that deck. And it could also just win the game.
It's funny. It's funny that it benefits the graveyard strategy, but then also hoses the graveyard strategy simultaneously.
Exactly. I kind of think that deck wants to run this card because it does put a bunch of creatures on the field. So it can pay the waterbend cost by tapping creatures. And then it also can just pull like 3 or 4 creatures out and have a huge swingy turn. And it can do that ahead of schedule because usually it's like 4 mana if they get their perfect draw. And this does something for like 3 mana and a waterbend of 2. I don't know. It's an interesting card. I think it's really cool. I think it's a 2. I'm giving that one a 2. Sure. It's definitely for niche deck. I don't think it's for every deck. But if it started seeing play in sideboards to also host graveyard decks and get a ton of value from them, I wouldn't be surprised. I think that's cool.
Okay.
I think that's a cool dream.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got here? Where did I put this artifact? This thing. Yeah, let's see. Let's see what you think of this.
Planetarium of Wan Shi Tong. Isn't that the owl? It is. It is a 6-mana legendary artifact. 1 and tap to scry 2. And whenever you scry or surveil, look at the top card of your library. You may cast this card without paying its mana cost. Do this only once each turn. So I'm assuming that trigger happens after the scrying happens, right?
Look at the card after you scry or surveil.
Right. Okay. So you get to scry first.
Our parentheses say.
Yes. And then oh yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh player. We don't know how to read. Okay. Literally right there on the card. Okay. So you may cast this card without paying its mana cost. Do this only once each turn. Okay, so having multiple doesn't allow you to do that multiple times. Mana cheating is fun. It does cost 6, so it's expensive. So unless you're playing it on when you have 7 mana, you're not getting to do anything with it immediately. This has Commander written all over it, I gotta be honest.
Not seeing it in standard. It's 6
I'm
mana.
thinking, well, immediately
mana,
I just think Commander, this, like, people are gonna try to play this. Like, it just seems like too easy for them not to. For standard, is it enough of a build around? Is the question.
The surveil lands are legal in standard.
Okay.
Lands that just enter and surveil when they do.
That helps it then.
That's something. 6 mana is a lot.
Yeah.
But so is Omniscience.
Unless you're playing the Mole, CGB.
I mean,
you can turn 3 Planetarium. You can turn 3 Planetarium with the Mole. I'm just saying.
And dig for your free spells?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I don't know, man.
Again, that's
free is really good.
Free's really good. Yeah. It is dependent on what's on top. It is dependent on what's on top. But are you just playing like big guy the deck and just play a bunch of huge things that your opponent just can't deal with? Or do you just play a lot of good stuff?
To me.
Or do you just play a bunch of good stuff for value?
I can't. There's got to be better ways to get value than playing this in like a value deck. There has to be. No, this is like for the big dreamers. This is for not me typically.
I'm gonna relegate this to commander card. I'm not seeing it for standard. What do you think?
I mean, there is an Omniscience deck in standard. It uses a 4 mana card to like cheat out Omniscience and then pop off. It's hard to imagine needing like a backup for that. That's a 6 mana card. If this sees play, it'll probably be in a deck like that, and it'll probably be 1 copy, or we get a printing like we've already banned a card in standard in this standard that reanimates an artifact for 4 mana, right? So like cheating this out would have been an option, but they banned that card. So I have a feeling that's not happening again soon. So yeah, I think it's also sadly a commander card. I would almost give it like a niche deck responsibility if Kona Rescue Beastie weren't 2 mana cheaper and already kind of filling the role and doing the thing. So there's that. All right. On a kind and uplifting note, check this one out.
Day of Black Sun. This is just what Vegas looks like. X and 2 green for a sorcery. Each creature with mana value X or less loses all abilities until end of turn. Destroy those creatures. Mana value X or less. So if you pay 2 for X, it's 4 mana, kill everything 2 or less, and destroy them. Or I'm sorry, they lose all abilities, then destroy them. So then it's 5 for 3, 6 for 4. Okay. I mean, this is just like your standard run-of-the-mill removal for the set, right?
Kind of.
Yeah. It's your board wipe.
It does. The reason it stands out to me is it keeps I think, rules lawyers, check me. I think it means that the earth bending cards don't return to the battlefield.
Okay.
Because I think they lose the ability to come back. And they have no mana value, so it's just 2 mana destroy all earthbent cards.
Okay. That's funny.
And tokens.
Sure, of course. Yeah. I think
maybe that matters.
Maybe it matters. Yeah.
Maybe that matters. Maybe the Badger Mole Cub meta needs a savior, and maybe it's Day of Black Sun. I like these cards a lot in standard that just prevent the opponent from being like, because there was a deck in standard recently, a Convoke deck that could just make 5 creatures or 6 creatures on turn 2. I like cards that like for this price, like 3 mana, just punish that ruthlessly. Because there's a few points in standard where, oh god, if I just play like 1-drop into 1-drop on the play, I'll win the game. You know, it's fine. A card like this says not so fast, little buckaroo. I think it's fine. And it for the death triggers of like Zulaport, Cutthroat, Sephiroth, Vengeful Blood Witch is the version that's in standard. Like this shutting those down so that you don't die to death triggers is probably a big deal.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if Yu-Gi-Oh has anything like this. Like we have plenty of stuff. It's like, oh, if you negate the effect of something, then you get to destroy it. But there isn't. I don't think we have a board wipe that has skill drain built into it. That would be something for sure.
And it is also, by the way, it does say like black destroy all tokens, right?
Exactly. Like
if somebody just made like 30 token creatures somehow.
I put it at 3. I think black decks will play this. It's fine.
Yeah, it's the day of Black Sun. It's the black deck has to play the day of Black Sun. It's like right there in the identity. Yeah, yeah. I think that's a good niche little board wipe friend. Yep. I agree.
How can you go wrong with a board wipe?
You can't go wrong with a board wipe. It's too much fun. So I'm gonna let's call that the avatar cards for the day. Do you have any favorites? I do feel like we saw some absolute bangers in the beginning. What was it?
The mole's great.
The mole seems insane. The mole reminds me, like Magic players will know what I mean. The mole reminds me of Orcish Bowmasters. Of just like one of the best card. 2 mana. It's like a 2 mana for 2 guys, but also this ability tacked on that makes it scale in a ridiculous way. Yeah, like that's what the Badger Mole Cub reminds me of, and that card is a problem. Yeah. I can't remember. That card's a game changer in Commander. Like it was never legal in Standard because Lord of the Rings was straight to Modern. And I think Badger Mole Cub gives me one of the best 2 mana for 2 creatures ever vibes. It's insane. Yeah. And then on the other hand, the Tiger Seal. That's like the idea of replacing Vivi is crazy, but is this the most aggressive blue deck of all time? I'm thinking of like Delver of Secrets that was so good back in the day, and it's legal in Standard now, and nobody plays it. And Tiger Seal? Yeah. This card is cracked. This card is insane with Eidetic Memory and Fear of Missing Out and Steamcore Scholar and all of these like things that just enter and draw a card and discard a card. And it's like, what are we doing? What? Why? What? This is what blue is going to be. I'm terrified of Tiger Seal. I really am. I'm scared of Tiger Seal.
I also just like Aang. I mean, it's not like anything super oppressive, but it's just a cool design. And I was gonna say the water bending, the air bending effect's really cool. I think it's just like it's a super flexible card. I hope it's better than it seems.
Well, for those who stayed to the end, I'll give you a heads up that I'm gonna go over a lot of the other Avatar legendaries in this set, as there are multiple versions of Aang and his buddies and his enemies, and I'm going to go over a bunch of those with Rare in tomorrow, and you guys listening on the podcast will hear that as well. So there's plenty more Avatar cards to review. A lot of people are calling this set a bit of a slam dunk. I agree. It has powerful cards for Standard, which is more than I can say for Spider-Man.
I think it needs some more spiders, actually. I think it's really missing some.
You had to do that. You just had to.
You beat me when you said Spider-Man. I was waiting the whole time.